Hey guys, Mike with W with another tech tip support video for the Alpha XLs. Today we're going to go over waypoints and tracks, how to make them so they are always visible on your screen. If you take your side-by-side, your truck, your ATV down a path and that road isn't already marked, we're going to show you how to create that track and then save it in a category so it's always visible. So here on the XL, we've got a couple options for showing what's visible on the map. We've covered this previously and we can link the video, but how to turn on your past tracks and things you've saved. But what we want to do here is create it so that you can see specific roads or waypoints. So to start out with this, we're going to go back to our main menu and we're going to hit the saved button here. That's going to open up everything that's been saved on the device. We're going to go here. As you can see, this one is pretty cleaned up. Yours is probably going to look a little bit more like this. Lots of waypoints, lots of stuff saved. If we go over here to our unsaved tracks are everything from the path of the XL to a route you've done or directions or the track recorder. But yours is probably going to look something like this. So the first thing we're going to go do here is we're going to go to our unsaved tracks. Because the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to want to take a track that I navigated with this XL. When I turned it on and started driving, I have this track here. Now to save this, we are going to go over here to the little wrench and we're going to save that track. Just going to give it a generic name for this. We're going to call it test. We'll call it test 1. Okay. Now the track has been saved. So now here in test 1, we're going to go to the wrench again and scroll down and we're going to add it to a collection. Now, I only have one collection set up on here. So what we're going to want to do is create a collection that is always going to be shown on the map. So we're going to create a new collection and show on map. Done. Now, we've created a new collection. It's selected. Once we hit done, it will be added. So now it's been added to the collections. We can go back. Now we can see this track here. I'm going to go all the way back to the map. There we go. And now we can see that red line and we can see that path. But if it's not showing up, make sure you go to your layer button here in the top corner. Collections. So let's turn this one off. I don't need that one. But we want to make sure that is selected. Show on map. So if I turn it off, it disappears. We'll turn it back on. Show on map. And that's the one we just added to the collection. We can do that again with another one. We're going to go over here. This one right here, the recorder 917, that's a track I did yesterday where to do this, I went to our applications over here, little squares, and I went all the way over here to the track recorder. I started a track when I started moving, and when I got to the end of the destination, I stopped it and saved it, and that's why it has that name of recorder 917. So to add that to the tracks, I can just select that since it's already been saved. Go up here, little wrench, and we're going to add that to the collection. Show on map. Now that one is going to look, but we're going to do one thing here. I'm going to change the color so we can see it a little better, so they're not all the same and they're not blending into each other. So we're done there. There it is. It's green. It's saved, added to the collection. Now we can take a look here and we can go to our collections, show on map, and I can see that both of them are added. If we go back to our map, I can see that I've got a red and green line from the red one from before. That's the one where I turned on the device and it just started saving the path. This green one is one where I did a track recorder. There is one other method to create and save these tracks. That is if you do a route or add directions. So for this next one, I actually went in and entered an address and I drove to that address and it automatically saved that. So we'll go back here. But I wouldn't worry about that one too much. That's a little bit more specific. I think for most of your uses, I think that the track recorder right here is going to be a good option, especially if you've got a road or a trail that isn't marked and you want to save that for later use. When you get to the beginning of the trail or when you leave home, at some point you'll want to start that track and then end it, and that's where you would get something like what I made here, the Recorder 917. One other thing we can do here is we'll go here to our collections and our waypoints. I've made some random waypoints here from the routes I drive, but what we're going to do is we're going to add those to just a waypoint group. So, whereas the first one we went in and just created a collection while trying to add, so you can save it to that, we're actually going to start a collection from the collection page. The add button, and I'm just going to name this Waypoints. Waypoints on map. Awesome. So now here, we don't want to hit the import. The import is going to, like it says here, it's going to want to import a GPX file. That's not going to work. So what we can do is we can go back, go to our waypoints, and we can do this as a group or individually. So group, I'm going to add the emu. There's a reason for that. There actually is a farm that has an emu running around that is my kids love looking at. So we're going to go here and hit collections, and I'm going to add that to the waypoints. All right, so now that's added. All right, the next one we can do is we can add a bunch of them at once. So I can tap the three little dots in the corner, select and edit. So let's add the babysitter. That's where we go to get pizza, the tank, and let's go to a shooting spot. Now I can, if you see up here the little book with the plus, that's your collection button. We're going to add those selected items to the collection. Waypoints on map. Done. Now they've been saved. So what we can do now, go back to our map, open that up. We're going to open our layers. Looks like we created the group and it was added. So we're going to turn off those tracks that we created. We're going to leave the waypoints on. So as you can see here, yep, there's the pizza spot, there's the docks. Zoom out a little bit. There's the babysitter. And if we go down the highway there, let's see here. There's our emu spot that was added. Now, if we're done looking at those waypoints, or for some reason we want to turn them off, we just go here and turn our waypoints off. Now the emu's gone. But I would recommend leaving both of those on. So we're going to leave our waypoints on and our show on map. That way, anytime you add something to that group, it's automatically going to populate on your map. Definitely suggest naming it something like show on map, don't delete, always show, something where you know that it needs to stay on. Or if somebody else is managing this for you, they can turn that on and off. So this has just been a quick how-to on common questions we get, how to show waypoints or tracks on the map. Like I said, you're going to go to your layers under your collections. This is going to help keep certain things organized. If you have something where the unorganized is checked, you're going to have something like this one, 189 items on your map. That can get a little cluttered. So this is going to help clean up and organize your Excel, make it a little easier, more user-friendly. This is just one idea we've had from some questions. Please reach out to us if you have ideas or questions, or you think you might have a good video topic idea, something to discuss. We are working on some more ideas. We've got one that I'm working on for editing those tracks. So if you want to get a little more in depth in that track and what shows up on here, we'll have one coming down the road. Again, reach out to us if you have any ideas. Also, in the month of September, every dollar you purchase is going to get you in for that sweepstakes. Thank you.